And it says, Mahama has appointed 100 ministers and deputy ministers. And this is Abu Jinapo speaking. Now the member of parliament for Damongu, Samuel Abu Jinapo, has stated that President John Dramani Mahama, despite promising Ghanaians he would form the leanest government, has appointed a total of 100 ministers and deputy ministers. Making his submission on the floor of Parliament on Wednesday, March 5, 2025, he claimed that this has resulted in significant expenses for the National Treasury, contrary to what the President promised. President Mahama has formed arguably one of the largest governments in the history of our country in terms of cost to the national exchequer. Why do I say this? Take for example, the appointment of Dr. Valerie Sawyer as senior presidential advisor in charge of government affairs. Her rank is equivalent to that of a cabinet minister who also serves as a member of parliament. This means her salary, emoluments, and conditions of service are the same as those of a cabinet minister who is also an MP. Mr. Speaker, the president has appointed a presidential advisor on the economy, a presidential advisor on the 24-hour economy, a presidential advisor and special aide to the president, a presidential advisor on the national anti-corruption campaign, and presidential advisor on diaspora affairs. He stated. He continued, Mr. Speaker. He has also appointed a presidential advisor, a presidential staffer, and special aide to the vice president, a presidential staffer for the Black Star Experience, and a presidential advisor on diaspora affairs. Additionally, he has appointed 5 policy advisors to the vice president. Furthermore, he announced the appointment of a minister for agribusiness. Yet, he has also appointed a director of the presidency in charge of agriculture and agribusiness, my good friend Peter Buama Otokono. Mr. Speaker, he claimed he will not appoint deputy ministers, yet he has appointed 16 presidential staffers in charge of the 16 regions of our country. In reality, when considering their cost to the national treasury, these presidential staffers essentially function as deputy ministers of state. I am honestly worried about the number of people President Mahama is appointing left, right, and center. I am scared. In fact, cockroaches are being appointed, lizards are being appointed, mosquitoes are being appointed left, right, and center. Mr. President, let's be honest and let's have it straight. If you have promised that we are going to have the leanest government is not only about ministers and deputy ministers. They involve and include all your appointees, for crying out loud. I am scared the rate at which appointments are flying all over the place. Is it a way to satisfy some people who supported the campaign? When you pass here, a cockroach has been appointed as something for something. A lizard is here, a frog is here. Then you check another corner, there is a bigger reptile there that is also appointed. It is a cause for alarm. What Abu Jinapo, who in my opinion is the worst minister this nation has ever produced. I have lost all respect for Abu Jinapo, and I've said it time and again. He was the worst minister this nation ever had. In his reign as the minister for lands, Galamsey rose all the way to the zenith. We saw the impunity with which our nation was wrecked in terms of our flora and fauna. Abu Jinapo should be bowing down his head in shame, my brother, my sister, for calling himself a former minister. He wrecked Ghana. If this was a serious country, somebody like this should be wallowing somewhere in the boulders of jail. My brother, my sister, that notwithstanding, he has made a point. And we need to look at the point. What point is he making? He has brought facts that the president has appointed so many different people. And it's almost like saying, I will not appoint deputy ministers, but you have a number of them who have been appointed in several different positions, albeit not in the ministries. It's almost like cutting here and going to slap it over there, robbing Peter to pay Paul in one way or the other. Mr. President, I know there is a lot of pressure on you. Everybody wants an appointment. Everybody's running helter-skelter, and we made it point blank right from the beginning that I will refuse any appointment by any government, any day, any time.
Abusianfuori mamunyina akwanso kere la confusione del cacchio di gente che non capisce un cacchio che vuole vivere senza mettere niente. Abusianfuori chacha munyina mamunyina kwa baso nkon ede won platform kese we so abusia ya sebo said munyina motie no said munyina motie no enipa bia Ghana ni ba bia odi na antone to ho se oye adwuma bi dia mama ba abedi president na waye bibi fufuro bi wasesa niema mama niema akoye bia no regret it akwa na otere nka okasa o na efe ni black rasta ono kura na mahama ye dey mahama man lose focus because the man Mahama is somebody that you cannot trust. He promised us of a lot of things, but what have you seen? What we have seen is anything that this man promised, he is not able to fulfill it. But rather, he is just what? Lamenting, complaining, saying what is not the truth, trying to make sure, say, Ghana for, ebe Philippi Tiaman say, Obaye, Sikani ho, Omina ye say, Yahochrie, Nessa, what to me, Ponya, Eddie Dini Bonnet. Edi aye di ope edi o man na akọ de bay ahokyere kesiem na he wo de yentie video we na mensan emre sesia na yemfa show na ankasa no yedan emmehyehyɛ so kama na bibia enko sɛde e wo sɛ enko ha RAZ Media GH me wo live nso e RAZ Media on YouTube yɛkɔ yɛtwa ho na yɛsamba sesia.
Amiwu.
Yes.
My system nyina collapse na me heart nkwa na ye adwuma. Ye kukuru me kobi na se me kire wo mu se me yare ampa. Doctor. Yes, Doctor Tro excuse duty. Say I'm dying.
Hey, that's a who exaggerated.
I'm not exaggerating, I'm telling you the truth.
Any peja
Yes, go and ask them.
Away, you peja fine.
BNI.
Hey, now be a heart nkwa na ye adwuma.
Oh,
Nana.
I am telling you. I am not lying.
You are not working hard in
my whole body, I had a total system collapse. A total
and so you were sent to the
I am telling you.
I don't know who said local.
Oh, there's my at least we are saying, but
I also had to inquire.
Of course. So body your internal organs. I am just telling you your internal organs were not working. What am I say? I am not joking. Me say me aunt to hank me more friend. She took me there. It's me kwa no kwa wo nyina hu me afi no mo tete haban ma me aunt no so won no ama me. Me am ka kire wo.
E bia na dan no asa haban na.
Please, yes, mango trees and papa is a mango tree is a one yes.
Mango tree
brutal. Yes, they carried me there. Opa bisa me person body.
Mango I had a sack my.
Me I want to Mankasa me yare akoma ya de.
Wase na akoma pena na eye.
Adwuma.
The body ni na total system collapse.
The nuama wa onoma.
Yes, nuama. Yes. Into mango leaves no bititi or see am fama men. I'm telling you. I feel no.
Na we na year ben no.
2017.
Na Dubai.
I swear. What are you talking about?
Let me address one very important matter, which is the question of the size of government. And indeed, the president, when he addressed this house, made the claim that he had formed the leanest and most effective government in the history of our country. So I want to submit that you can have 10 ministers, another government can have 20 ministers, and the government that has 20 ministers may have a smaller government machinery, a smaller government size than you who have 10 minutes. And I want to demonstrate that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's on record. The record is that the pegging or ranking of officials of the presidency are as follows, Mr. Speaker, since the inception of the fourth Republican dispensation. The chief of staff is pegged at the rank below the Speaker of Parliament, but above a cabinet minister who doubles as a member of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, a senior presidential advisor is pegged at the level of a cabinet minister who doubles as a member of Parliament. So a senior presidential advisor, by all intents and purposes, their salaries, emolument, conditions of service is equivalent to a cabinet minister who doubles as a member of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, a presidential advisor is pegged at the level of a cabinet minister who is not a member of Parliament. A presidential staffer is pegged at the level of a non-cabinet minister who is not a member of Parliament. And a presidential aide is pegged at the level of a deputy minister. These are the rankings since the inception of the fourth Republican dispensation. Mr. Speaker, so if you want to see the size of government and its bearing on the national exchequer, Mr. Speaker, don't just look at ministers and deputy ministers. Look at the government holistically. And Mr. Speaker, I want to submit that if you look at this government holistically, there are ministers, deputy ministers, senior presidential advisors, presidential staffers, presidential aides. President Mahama has formed arguably one of the biggest or largest governments in the history of our country as it relates to the cost on the national exchequer. Mr. Speaker, why do I say this? Check, for example, the president has appointed Dr. Valerie Sawyer as senior presidential advisor in charge of government affairs. Her rank is a cabinet minister who doubles as a member of Parliament. So her salary, her emolument, conditions of service, everything to do with her office is at the same rank as a cabinet minister who doubles as a member of Parliament. That's because he's appointed a presidential advisor on economy, appointed presidential advisor for 24-hour economy, presidential advisor in special aid to the president, presidential advisor on national anti-corruption program, presidential advisor on diaspora affairs. Mr. Speaker, he goes on to appoint presidential advisor, presidential staffer, and special aid to the vice president, presidential staffer for Black Star Experience, and then presidential staffer for diaspora affairs. Mr. Speaker, then he goes ahead to appoint 5 policy advisors to the vice president. Mr. Speaker, he tells the country that he's appointed a minister in charge of agribusiness, and yet he's appointed director at the presidency in charge of agriculture and agribusiness. My good friend Peter Buama Otukono. The Speaker, he says he will not appoint deputy regional ministers, and he appoints 16 presidential staffers in charge of the 16 regions of our country. The Speaker, I want to submit that these presidential staffers in charge of the 16 regions of our country, in essence, as it relates to the cost on the national exchequer, are in fact, indeed, and in substance, deputy ministers of state. Mr. Speaker, he then appoints, Mr. Speaker, listen carefully, please. Mr. Speaker, he then appoints one presidential advisor on media, 4 directors of communication at the office of the president, 5 deputy directors of communication, 2 communication specialists, 5 technical communication assistants, 1 media aide, 1 assistant media liaison officer, 1 communications consultant. I've done the mathematics. And I want to submit, Mr. Speaker, I've done the mathematics, that I want to submit, and I do this not from a partisan lens, but I do this as somebody who had the privilege and honor to serve as Deputy Chief of Staff. I know how it works. In terms of the cost on the national exchequer, the President has appointed 100 ministers and deputy ministers.
Abusianfo. Bobaba. What? Bobaba. Bibia ano chere na kwai mu ye. Ma mu nyina adwubio abusia Mr. Mafo me amini eha RAZ Media GH. Ene dwumadie no ebeye ntentem so pa na ebeye wadre. Enti mesro se waba no abomodren na watrase na wagye akonwa. De mesro no se bomodren na share video no. Like video no mame. Ma video no enye krabehwe se obe share, obe like, obe comment na wafre wunua ne wo namfofo ne wadofofo na omo abeka ho na enyina ye de sabio dwumadie no abrew ene. Wa ohwe me e wo Facebook nso me mo akwa bapa menua phobia member from Facebook ena yenua kwaku boaten from Facebook. Abusia sa channel no so ye adwuma pa enti mesra wa sese unyam follow me wo Facebook nso akona kohwe machi akwan e wo Facebook no so na beka adwuma yekuo no ho e wo Facebook nso na bibia enkoso ye kama pa. I believe say ene sound no emuda ho pa. Yesi babi say na babi so ye ai sa na ye kana si babi say na babi ye minya trouble kakra e wo fie in terms of network. And then yankopon adom ya ye bibia ama bibia jina na naso and the network ni jina so den we take advantage of that e de ye ne man kitinkiti bi wo fie ama the studio no e kama pa ochina machine studio no e de ato channel no so no bia ahu e fie ba bia ye adwuma na mo de boni ahu bi se nya agro bi na ye di ye twese ne ma beto tomu yie ye to me the proper informations, proper communication style, proper way of presenting things ediaba na ene mu nyina tumi adi dwuma na ye dwuma die no abeye kana behwe die di ka ma memfa na ase ema atiefu a wabo dom ewo ha ene Esther Kebarima I feel about kupe she was the first person to comment mame me mo akwa ye pa nim se ba bia obia bibia ekoso ye sanso na yenwia Khalif Jaben wonso me mo akwa ye pa mame reta me chia ye pa my sister Monica, I me krom ni ba kope abrekumfo. Ye na ye hia mu I me amangwase ni saa na tie. Ye phobia member enso ye mo akwa Coffee Large, Frank Coffee nso me chia ye pa. E na ye ba Rose Rukaya wonso me mo akwa ye. Abusia ye phobia member e another powerful platform on this social media. Odensem papa enam enti mesro se bomodo na hwehwe no e wo Facebook ene YouTube na koka na ho kobo na chidom na ono so ne nyumadie no enyina ne nan so na enkoso se de se na efata mia mesro se hwehwe me na ano na wa like video na ama me na ya ye hwe ye doso but ya like iswa enti mesro se bomodo na so like na video no enko na nim na nye automatic push na adunsia me ma wakwa ba ye pa ene ensema ye de ba na doso enti be from one by one na ye ko according to bibia na se de niema se de tie se de fata e de abremo. First of all, tie papa we
will reduce significantly the size of government, and as announced in my speech at the we shall assemble and operate the leanest but most efficient government under the history of our Fourth Republic. We'll reduce significantly the size of government. And as announced in my speech at the UPSA late last year, in a crisis situation like this, it is my belief that this country can be governed efficiently with 60 ministers and deputy ministers. We will initiate and undertake the most far-reaching constitutional, political, and governance reforms under the Fourth Republic, which will be aimed at restoring confidence in our democracy and governance systems while making life easier and better for the people of Ghana. In response to the concerns and calls from many of you, we will initiate and undertake the most far-reaching constitutional, political, and governance reforms that will restore confidence in our democracy. We'll continue and bring to conclusion.
Okay, enti abusia. Mahama in opposition. Ebetra. Ebejina Ghana fo nyina anim. Eka kire Ghana fo say what? Ono na banya opese omfa mmra no. Ministers odi omobeye adwuma eye nsia, eye duosia, which is 60. Yeah, asisi da jamfi mo akwaba ye pa na ye sister Cynthia Frimpong wonso mo akwaba pa. John Dariga Dramani Muhammad intro kese de kire Ghana fo se ono no enam se odwene Ghana man ho na odwene se ehun hia se ye bebo ministers ahodo because of say according to him no sika ye spende any monument and ye ma ye de ma ministers no e de ye adwuma no se ye omododo a se ye omododo a ebe ma what ebe ma omba aban no na kohoma no akonanim enti ebe ma Ghana man ye ho akire ye papa yi kan sa asem we na Ghana fo nyina yajitum say well say also betete so ama ministers omododo aba form because you want to reduce your size of government. Na actually obeye ama na timi ya effective dia ene papa you're welcome Ghana fo ejina ho ejina wachi sebra na beye sa adwuma no emaye mimianom anche ena ekoto aba ena Ghana fo etie sa promise ena mokoto aba edi yewura John Mahama se omra na omra medi oman no so na omeye de oka kire ye na eto yasom a enam so ma yekoto aba no omra na omeye maye abusia papa yi batena akonwa so ye nyanya mfi yenyanya bosome miensa kura na nsoro ensem ene niema a ekoso no chense de papa ya di Ghana konwa so afe ba akone ekire one promise papa we de ma ye na ene na ye one of the first things enka ye betumi abase on to what to estimate and as enka betumi dia approximately ye betumi akase papa we promise your promise and oba so no any the issue of ministers identity make say issues of ministers the entire make say ministers no the initiative of your government or appointment of the ministers no and then the first thing that you do before answer obetumi ahye aye wunyuma aw pese omra meye. So if this man wanted to prove Ghanaians say he is really willing to do what he wanted to do. And the ministerial appointment, government appointment, and I was saying, come up away, ain't me for you on a nine show, and yet then, and yes, and appointed system ministers. Nanka Ghana for one say, or cancel or by appointed system ministers. Why yet, and by all means, what he also promises, he's going to forfeit them. But me, dear Ben, ene yahu. Dear yahu ni said ye papa yi enim kwan ye fa so a ye deceive amanfo. Ye di amanfo adwene edi agro. Ye twetwe amanfo de omokoto gina berebi. Na ye ja omo atu na ye ntumi nye what we are supposed to do ntino. Papa no ayeden minister appointment ye di minister aka ho no. Wabo modern akipu no at 60. Ena wafa achiri. So ena wafa achiri na waye appointment binoma minister nsoso. na mmom no omo adwuma omo beye akatua ye de be ma omo enema a ye de be ma omo so omo nje na omo mfanye omo adwuma no emu eduru esene sabio minister temiyo ministers no nipa ye di minister aso ni dini so no oyiemu aduosia no pepepe se de okaye no but se de ye nyinanim se untumi mfa ministers aduosia emu o mind se Ghana mane ye yie nti no papa no entro na odi kire ne supporters in the campaign period no kwanya obefa so a odi beye den ebe kata wonani na ne supporters na niam omo ho se sabio system ministers wanyi omo na wayi more than that nti no wa frɛ omo odi din foforo bi na ato omo so offer omo presidential staffers, advisor to this, advisor to that, a presidential staffer for this. And now I can bomu and now me no kase. John Mahama me bo ni video chile catch say they are going to bring in a linear government. Just a government nipo mu ye adwuma wo government machinery num omuso no. And then Papa Net has come to a point to say he's the government with the biggest size of government machinery a been seen that in the Fourth Republic. Fatu Timiye. Says ya menon kasei. John Mahama appointed about 100 and something plus of people indirectly they are ministers. Because I will see the appointment of ministry, of ministers, now ukwa redo soon because you don't want Ghana to spend a lot of money in salary and in a monument there. Then we thought to say you were not going to appoint other people. Sabio jinabra odi amono. Akapiani a monument na yede mono. Emu eduru sene ministers. Enye sa na tie dia. Adentia wanye ministers. Na mbom no akosesa nkrofo a sabio the yankan say the principle the na opese wunyina so mfanye the na wodi ye ne se ye moka no se the wuye no e ma ye boka sere se enka wonye bibia na nka oba appoint the normal number of ministers Ghana for here so enti Robin Peter to pay Paul yes he am for ministers so but yafa presidential staffers advisor and one and idea gum say choyo the money that you are going to make, the money that we are going to pay to them, no, they are even higher than if you would have what appointed ministers inside of these names that you have given to them. Enti yakoye ana say by yakoye ana say by. Wow, say Mahama didn't ho akoto adwam. Wow, say Mahama didn't ho akoto adwam. Mekayo Mesi papa we wa hu. Mo amudi na chi. Mo amugusu amudi na chi. Mo amaya mo se da monte hwe. Mo nyina mo ni afira. Ai. Mo nyina mo ni afira because papa ni yo bia ye ka oni po ni mu ntro die. Otimi kata na ni di ntro. Otumi deceive trickish. Ye da wa krokro wa ji ade afiri wo nsam. Papa wo ya number 1. Or your number 1 in a sense say he has been able to what? Deceive all the Ghanaians. And after the deceiving, no, even in power, no, this man who don't want to come out and say, Abusiamfo, Mr. during campaign, I made this promise, but unfortunately, looking at the things, you know, and possible. The man is also coward. And now that you have power, you, John Mahama, you have only 4 years to be the president. So the most wisest and the most responsible decision and Kapapa will be to me taking say, and Kobe Babon to make a Ghana for say, Abusia for Nama Junimu, Naminim say, commit me the Nipa Duosia, aye, Abanya Jumano, Amana ye. Besabra mbetena nkonwa mu no enema aye koso no metumi wo se nipa do osia ne ntimi nyɛ saa adwuma ne ma ne yɛ yie entine me de bi ka ho na adwuma na me pese me mra mɛyɛ no agyina ne nan so wo be ka asɛm wo ya nobody will challenge you because many of us knew say that even promise of system ministers was not sensible because of say enye one minister na obeyina free ministerial headquarters ho no and ebeye den and the best son of a buy no car obebo because there are hundreds and hundreds of people omo ye adwuma at any ministerial office agrek ministry no enye minister no nko anete ho ye were another 100 people omo ye adwuma and so yi minister no nko free ho you have not cut any expenditure but because of campaign ti ubedi intro waba 4 years na da wanim saa 4 years na da wanim no obia na obetumi age afiri wonsam eye wo dia so the best thing this man would have do is to come out and tell Ghanaians say abusiamfo eye me na me promise mo say I want to lead the country with 40 with 60 ministers but enye possible enti me fabia ka ho nobody would have challenged you and nobody could even make you change your mind because of say Ghana ya manyo sem no kire say yenya to abama emfie nan no wie a ade se owuo ene beyi wa firi akonwa so ana se je so koya de bi a eye against the constitution ehona na impeachment ebetumi abam enti if Mahama was responsible na senka onye a scammer continue to scam people and kabiro who say enye possible no the honorable thing to do is to come out and tell Ghanaians say abusiamfo mesremo asem na meka ye no ma who say enye possible etimi fabia ka who would have challenge you Mahama but where dey wo ye ujira nkran ni mu tete nkran ne ujira nkran ni mu tete nkran ne ena ugusu sister a presidential staffer advisor for this ministerial advisor component of advisor a leader of what was said nipa na odi omugumu say twi sa nipa na was so omugumu no nyina no omo nso no akati omoji no emu eduru esene say enka obo appoint omo as a deputy ministers or even a minister enti what is the sense of not nominating more than 60 ministers because at the end of the day the entire person yes sir and say said the beya or mine more kakese na say one yes sir na mom de wo ye no e more mine be boka more than what we were supposed to then what is the sense in what you are doing boga comedy wo de da bia oba ha ya nipa kasa na wo ye de sa na wo kasa sa bra enye by force me join NDC o saa nso enye by force wo be join MPP nti misre wa boga misre wa bomodrana respect ho kakra wa misre wa yes Q I say he's a calculated smooth talker and a clever liar very very clever liar or a great deceiver kakra kapa or a great deceiver pa Patrick Owusu answer say I think we Ghanaians have given up our destiny to fools to make a decision for that. Yeah. This one I completely agree with you because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense actually because you say you want to cut your size of government just to make it what? To cut expenditure. Now, any power we are going to spend more money than if we would have appointed them as a ministers. So what is the sense in not calling them minister and calling them another name? When a mamma so can say, hey, that man called John Darega Dramani, Mr. Ibu Mahamano, he don't care about your well-being. Waba obedini di asanya ko waba ne nkrofo ne omobaye obeye obi adwuma ma no waba what he's thinking about and say even kwan ombefa so 2028 ombetumi anwe ne power so now what he's doing is that he's trying to make sure, say, he will satisfy anybody who stood and campaigned for who? For the NDC. That is what is going on. Because now I can say, Sankrofo was a presidential staff and advisor to the minister, advisor to the vice president, advisor to the diaspora affairs. Anyone when you know, they are all pro NDC people who campaigned seriously for the NDC. Yes. Now, one way, I am a catcher say, you can say regression now. You can't afford to say young people for the year Hosano. And you can't young people for Kwana or more regret you. And people for Manquan Kotuaba, I regret it, so Manquan Kotuaba. But I can tell you for a reason, say, any public brano multimedia no suye de man this, you know. A lot of them has regretted for even talking for the NDC because Papa will buy, you know, and near my ecosono, unless you are damp and you don't see it. The first promise, the basis of his promise, the only thing that he could have done and kebet me a share saying GD when the Musa Papa, the all you at the pan up person your man. What fairly? So what else are we expecting? What else are we expecting? Because when a man is measured, nipa utiwiasia, you are measured based on how you value your personal, your own worth. Aseme be free bonu mabano. Value out the man no. That is what we use to measure you. It is said that my friend, Mami Esther. I'm going to say, Mami, and then me buy you kill. Now, Mami, is okay. More bad, Obama, do not go to my bush, you could me crooning manum. Now, or what, or my day. Or more organize you, or more come and say, me ba or move shiame, you unless the quack shiawon. Now, Sabio, Metrayamana Boba, yes, a time I was saying, can you push a make us a diamond to me and for pretty now farmer. It is disappointment. And what does it mean? It means that you are not a serious person. So, but say be on Kamisha Bono, and anchor before the time. My friend can say a day before, me say, Mammy, you can mean to me, my beam. So, I don't know a responsible person. That is what we see in Mahama. Inside of him to come out boldly and tell the people, say, I exaggerated. I na me share, you know. Me share na kesiye dodo enye possible because of this, because of that. People would have accepted you. But entrona ugusu a otwa de kira manfo ni dream ene kankan na oya o sisa manfo a o kata so no. Ene na nam so masabio NDC fo mpo na omo ye adwuma de ma NDC kura no. Omo nyina omo adwa. Na no me bo video kira wo ha. Akobi a yefrene listo well. NDC ni kese power FM. Wadwa osema hama ye criminal. Ene video me bo akira wo. Black Rasta. NDC ni kese pa. Kono so wadwa more and more people are what? Are dominated by John Mahama. And to that video, we listen to what Black Rasta is saying to John that regard Dramani Mahama. Janu kwa kwa pia mimi amwakwa pa.
Mahama has appointed 100 ministers and deputy ministers. And this is Abu Jinapo speaking. Now the member of parliament for Damongu, Samuel Abu Jinapo, has stated that President John Dramani Mahama, despite promising Ghanaians he would form the leanest government, has appointed a total of 100 ministers and deputy ministers. Making his submission on the floor of Parliament on Wednesday, March 5, 2025, he claimed that this has resulted in significant expenses for the National Treasury, contrary to what the President promised. President Mahama has formed arguably one of the largest governments in the history of our country in terms of cost to the national exchequer. Why do I say this? Take for example, the appointment of Dr. Valerie Sawyer as senior presidential advisor in charge of government affairs. Her rank is equivalent to that of a cabinet minister, who also serves as a member of parliament. This means her salary, emoluments, and conditions of service are the same as those of a cabinet minister who is also an MP. Mr. Speaker, the president has appointed a presidential advisor on the economy, a presidential advisor on the 24-hour economy, a presidential advisor and special aide to the president, a presidential advisor on the national anti-corruption campaign, and presidential advisor on diaspora affairs. He stated. He continued, Mr. Speaker. He has also appointed a presidential advisor, a presidential staffer, and special aide to the vice president, a presidential staffer for the Black Star experience, and a presidential advisor on diaspora affairs. Additionally, he has appointed 5 policy advisors to the vice president. Furthermore, he announced the appointment of a minister for agribusiness. Yet, he has also appointed a director of the presidency in charge of agriculture and agribusiness, my good friend Peter Boama Otokono. Mr. Speaker, he claimed he will not appoint deputy ministers, yet he has appointed 16 presidential staffers in charge of the 16 regions of our country. In reality, when considering their cost to the national treasury, these presidential staffers essentially function as deputy ministers of state. I am honestly worried about the number of people President Mahama is appointing left, right, and center. I am scared. In fact, cockroaches are being appointed, lizards are being appointed, mosquitoes are being appointed left, right, and center. Mr. President, let's be honest and let's have it straight. If you have promised that we are going to have the leanest government, leanest government is not only about ministers and deputy ministers. They involve and include all your appointees, for crying out loud. I am scared the rate at which appointments are flying all over the place. Is it a way to satisfy some people who supported the campaign? When you pass here, a cockroach has been appointed as something for something. A lizard is here, a frog is here. Then you check another corner, there is a bigger reptile there that is also appointed. It is a cause for alarm. What Abu Jinapo, who in my opinion is the worst minister this nation has ever produced. I have lost all respect for Abu Jinapo, and I've said it time and again. He was the worst minister this nation ever had. In his reign as the minister for lands, Galamsey rose all the way to the zenith. We saw the impunity with which our nation was wrecked in terms of our flora and fauna. Abu Jinapo should be bowing down in shame, his head in shame, my brother, my sister, for calling himself a former minister. He wrecked Ghana. If this was a serious country, somebody like this should be wallowing somewhere in the boulders of jail. My brother, my sister, that notwithstanding, he has made a point, and we need to look at the point. What point is he making? He has brought facts that the president has appointed so many different people, and it's almost like saying, I will not appoint deputy ministers, but you have a number of them who have been appointed in several different positions, albeit not in the ministries. It's almost like cutting here and going to slap it over there, robbing Peter to pay Paul in one way or the other. Mr. President, I know there is a lot of pressure on you. Everybody wants an appointment. Everybody's running helter-skelter, and we made it point blank right from the beginning that I will refuse any appointment by any government, any day, any time.
Yes, Abusia. And then omo adane apotro apɔtwerɛ and ntɛfere nyinaa no Mahama more appointment wei ɔyɛ NDC ni bɔn sɛ NDC for ɔmo life ne sɛ ɔmo yɛ nkwasi asɛm na wo ka they try to defend themselves enti no abugyinapo aba bɛte Mahama to adeɛ na yɛ nyinaa yɛ nim but waka ne parliament enti parliament records no dam instead of say akwa wei offending them disappointed black rasta ubeka the Mahama ye amagana fuateno you are there condemning Abujinapo. In any case, what are your cases concerned? What has Abujinapo done to you? No, a land and natural resource minister gadam say ntiana any jakasa na de ekoso na e wo maban we mu no gadam say sem no ye ba beka ho asem eso esene de na ekoso dada because the canker of the Galamsey is NDC made canker. Inya Kakari TV Mwakwaba pa. Ena Michael Umbet Monso Kwaba. Yongo foi Mwakwaba pa. Sa Galamsey ntina wo say Abujinapo dinia. Enye ne the ekosu on Mahama baimu in terms of Galamsey illegal mining no. Eye worse than what was happening before. The difficulties and anadunya you know, it was because it was the NDC men who were involved in the Galamsey deal. So it wasn't a Bujinapo case, but it's a case of NDC in opposition opposing to the Galamsey. Yenayate NDC focuses a man for the omufra manone baso mumeme Galamsey. But the fact of the date is that Mahama has deceived all Ghanaians. Hey, oh, me kasa me kika and sema papa we promises so beye. Ah, wanya edoso. Ose oba obefa system ministers waye den watu atwi ai watu atwi abugina ponko gina parliament nka de ani ho abra NDC fo gina ho watu atwi we take more than 100 ministers Mahama si oba agenda 111 obeto aso afi oba ayo be kan kire nse ohie sika aso otima agenda 111 Mahama ba eka se oba obefa nurses fo adwuma oba ya omo ya form adwuma wayi won nyina di Mahama se oba obefa te Galamsey enne Galamsey na NDC fo na eye regional chairman ni district one hwan regional coordinators enne ye Galamsey. So every single promise that John Mahama made he has actually showed to Ghanaians. He said he is a man, he is not responsible for his words. Because medican can say nipa de wanuma se me be free wanuma ba ene de obeye ene na edigina so e measure wo say we are responsible or you are not because say okay we ene now china we we different from what you said you are going to do it is a rare definition of unresponsible person, irresponsible person, and as somebody that you cannot trust. And Mahama is somebody you cannot trust. He's a scammer. Ye kayana monti the abanon. And then sabio apochro. And your friend is saying, interfering omu ministers, omu presidential staffers, omu advisors. She say you cannot mention the vice president alone. The vice president alone has about 5 advisors surrounding him, surrounding Oyobanji, surrounding her. 5 advisors surrounding the vice president. And then, na JD kura, the vice president of the America, JD, onokura pono. America, ye 52 states joined together. Obenya sa 5 advisors around him. Obenya. And then, and tro, e kayana montie. When you talk about in terms of why they are number 1. Who know how to deceive people, who know how best he can deceive Ghanaians. You cannot take it away from Mahama. Say he's the man now. Sabio Senkaye can say the man for diamond on deceiving people. Mahama would have been number 1 in the world. Entiene obia shoko. Even the NDC people self, they have shocked. They never believed say Mahama was going to do all these things that he campaigned against. sɛ Nanado na mukai eduru baabi ye babe gyina bonte ka kyerɛ Ghana for Nanado asesa nipa about 1,000 egu Frastar House abra na enye nokore abra na enye den na enye nokore. And so what are we seeing? We are seeing wars. And what was the sense of changing Nanado for this man to come? It was needless. That decision that we made was a needless decision. We were not supposed to make that mistake that we have done. Now the yanto aso to the another segment. Nana bema me mwakwaba ena mami akwenya akwo nso mwakwaba pa. Benjamin akunya mukakira. Yanto aso na yenko yanim na Nanado de Yankopon hyira no. Papa na yefe Nanado danko Akufo-Addo no. Yankopon se we sie hyira no. Me hu bi da. Me pese wo hwe video we. Wadi 84 good years so. At the age of 84. Uhu na ase ye wono nra. Eh. Nti emu bi na ebenyina duru emfie we ya so fresh like man we. Asemo. Uhu na Nanado a obese ye wono nra. Boss ye wono nra. Oba be di president sukura pa wie o. Eh, asem we. Unhwe video we. Nipa Nyankopon hyira no tamfo edumi ye den ensesa no da ema ne yeye ananie adogagai adudi. This is the man Adudi, strong man. These are the scenes from where? From the 68th anniversary. Ananie, Papa, we were deep 84 years so. Papa, we were deep and 84 years. Benanim, Beno, Baba, we. Yakupo Shalanado. Mahama, Misso, ye, denya. Won't mean ya and you will yam to Salanado Damani ye. Look at this man. 84 good years. Yes. Adudi. Any problem? Uba we are saying. Now we can't dream pa. We are the pa. And the man. And the pa. Yankopon ankasa ni shira wo we dey Akufo still in his form and be Papa we Yankopon be chwe 84 years old man. Hey, Nana Jamie shira why or 84 or 74 abusiamo muame. Look at this man, very fresh, tough man in his attire. Na andisi for who Papa we ya. Na omudani omwani no muhu J. Akufo. No omudani omwani hwe omonsa say no muhu Dr. Alhaji Muhammad Bawumia. Na ya akawo. Adwemoni nti andisi for omudi president ni omunyina wu. I adwemoni nti and this is from painful mudi Ghana so yes we di 84 years. Papa no na mono we di 84 years.
Please move back, please. Let's go back, please. Sorry.
Bro, at the former president no chrono Adudi. Nana Yankopon Ashraw. Ghana mine edawase. Any adwuma pa obebo ye edema Ghana. Na mamen kansen bi nchiro. Andi sifo hu na adunu je Akufo ana omo twa pai o. Na omo twa pai. Adentia. Ye ko MPP amanyo kuma ye mpanfo gu ye chi omo bitima advice ye. Another your former president. just recent former president Otiho onko babia. Yesan wo yewura J Kufuor Otiho onko babia. Adentia eni papa na Nyankopon hyira no. Eni papa na Nyankopon hyira no. Na yekoye nkrofo no nkyɛn de a hwan utwa wani a hwito Mr. Kofi Sapon Kofi Mwakwaba Mame Joyce woso Mwakwaba pa se utwa wani hwe wachi in the other part na hwito obi ani ho anything to trasam ni jimi nko a na omagada na omoye hwi ni kutra yam panyini bia ni fie no wo wayedan watu womfo ni papa bi ni fie na wa kire won what to do and what not to do enti omosori a nsemfo ne ntro trasam na omugusu na omudie na hwe saade we ya sanya atwemade we ya John Mahama koye ne wo Frastar House sanya atwemade we ya John Mahama koye ne wo Frastar House Ghana fo ye niska hey anniversary the Independence Day Adimguasio hey Mrs. this man want to disgrace the image of Ghana. So Sikani Hontino, the anniversary Nanado in his capacity as a president, Eddie Sikako all different region capitals. So you could spend or my Sikani bi wo Emma Hotel Fonya Juma ye Emma Bankuton Fonya Juma ye when I want to pure water crowning yamfa so free the anniversary days are ye and wanda nanado so yeah they call different region. Emma district ahodo ne regions ahodo no bebre na so nyamfa so free an independent day so when wa ko ni nya atwem Accra ho ana ode hye Jubilee House ho a Jubilee House discotheque 24 hour e ho ana ode hye nya atwem osisika ni ho sika ni ho enti independent day na nka ye ne kakra na a way of maybe can I say injecting money into the system. Akwa we ba o se da bi onyema ne ye. Omo betra Jubilee House ho a. I enjoy sika no. Enti wona nka ukita hotel bi e wo sunyan e bi asafie nka sunyan na wo se mfa nko. Nka hotel be nya amanfo na kwa kakra gu ho. Wa wo ka banku ka obenya sika no more ene because amanfo firi baby bebre beba wa wo fufuo wa wo ton pure water ice kenke ice tea ice chocolate wan hwan enka nipa ya base chom obi abenya ne kakra awudie ne boni nti ene yesi anya na Jubilee House adenti agana niska o madam this is a disgrace muna amote ho a ena ewa ya ade say wakate what expenditure ba na wakate expenditure there was some family bonten na o man manu nya so mfaso ni no ene na wan fama na de onu benya free sa independent day no mu no de omo nsaka I fatu tim don't be a lower minded understand the things papa no what opposition and fear almost 8 years command na che odeka command no obebo krono enti how can he do that 4 years spend than him on to me enough 8 years enye den expanded the way to steal and in this 4 years no any means and way that he would do to get the money quick he would do that and in tiene sa independent day no ye coding to say the ko winsani bi awu a ye na ye what you obo nsam amade say one man kwama individual common citizen anyam faso bi amfiri there so independent day no so na obo nsam hey nsambo bi ani hu all these ways are trickish way to steal from you people to steal from the ordinary people because bra expenditure na ye independent day no enye sika bi ade koma foreigners o sa kana aban ne bono at the independent day no enye sika bi ye de koma Cote d'Ivoire fo anase ye de koma Guinea Bissau fo a scar buying spending in the country by bringing up all the people, by giving accommodation to the people, by providing services and food to the people. Na nipa omo ye sa adwuma no omo ye Ghana for. Enti sa Mahama anye de na wo sa onye ti say the afibia ye na. It means say inside of him to spend money for it to go to the common citizens, one spend it scanning na our presidency because 4 years it's man. So between the above chrono the opposite more. So he must to avoid overspending necessary for the country. Say the be beka fee na when you be appear at the agun chain. When the moment now, here papa way. And this is for your cromfo. Mr. Man from Mekana Sausu engineer. A wow JJJ. Will tell me for which reason. Independence Day, pa. Independence Day, pa, and ye didn't say the yedi. You can say, we send be woy. Independence Day, and ye didn't say, be a one more bra. Independence Day, it is day to inject money into the system. Spend money. Let people have money. Not yes, spend money on services and goods so that people who provide these goods and services can make money. Now, what Frastar House? As some kunyami and sambo home say and Independent Day. Ghana for ya siepe. You was some a bonnet po. Yanko yanim na yamfansem ahodoɔ emerebo. Abusiafo enche bia na akwawe pa na ho asiro. Enche bia na akwabi yesi frɛ no akwa na yeso ye Minister of Foreign Affairs no kura frɛ ne say momo ni di ma me na me de me we free. Akwawe Miya Kofi Eje mu akwaba. Abusianfo ma menka mo se yenwia Kakari TV ewo YouTube. Umenwe na chi akwampa ne yen support no. Kakari TV SK TV dada no. Bibinti se de medi kankan da bia no. Bibinti SK TV ne nya adwuma wo YouTube biem. Enti ene ye frɛ ne Kakari TV. Enti mesra se hwehwe Kakari TV ewo YouTube no so na ko support no. Na onye den ultimate mail the back the channel or YouTube as Kakari TV, that is SKB TV, and our Facebook to say SKB TV 1 when a chia kwa na support no sanso na miwia phobia member TV so our YouTube sanso wo Facebook umenwe na chia kwa na yen support no SK money phobia amsra mo fan chemina these days no ene me ba sha semba be show na omo be kra me network na ma me frɛ me say yenye update no na network ntimi nya dwuma nti I have to wait I feel like I be awie. That's why I came late, but hoping say things will not happen this way. And another is 80 years now. Wow, 80 years of age. Interesting. Akupo share another che umenwe another biem ado guy ni ado me fans ado guy o hefa me hwe no umenwe ado guy kakra ye ado na do na no na wo he maminya kwa we mfa na ado mra papa no Yankopon shira no 80 years pa 80 years man 80 good years. Oh my God. Why in the show be 80 years? No one yam feel ujira na 9 so say. Bold man. Bibia jinam. Kevin tell our papa dim fear saying. Jimmy. Korinsa akweteshia yama na ye topo. Na na wo him aye hwe wanim. Ghana mind that was 80 years of age. Strong man. Ochia unsama bo unsam. Yes, freshman. Nana animonyam fatal. Ghana for that was say any the good services that you provide to Ghanaians. Nana yankopon enshira oda na onye wo kese. God bless you, Nana. You have done your best. Enemies are not God. They say Ochiro yonko our time. So the NDC will always hate you. But we, the patriotic citizens, knows how important you are for us. Not for nothing, not for partisan, but for the good job that you did for what? For Ghana. Abu Sayanku and Namimfa Majiwe and Chro. I call him say woo. Phobia audio was it. Or say, oh, you could just talk about phobia with us. Namin say, go away, woo. San out yase. She said, me in contompo for. In contompo. A trofo. Nipo mutimi job wanum. A koshi for. To send this leadership me who be that NT be so that my brother. Papa way, bra out your position. One say, Ninsen semna no ke kanona no edne. Ena foreign minister of Martin Ton Sase. Ena wo mo wia na mo ayese na mo kwasempanyi ne benya akonwa ne di ye no. Amanfo edimande. Me wi atoni ebo amu akwa bapa. Amanfo edimande oku wonsem na wo ka ye no. What is going on? Kwasempanyi ne benya say President Mahama orders reversal of Foreign Affairs Ministry land sales. I say, Mahama say, Obibia auto Foreign Affairs Minister, Nensa Sibiano, on sign, Emfa, Ensasano, Emra. Just say, for certificate, bra, na beju sika, na fire sase maye. Akwa we can same way, NDC Gen Z for no munim so mu. Omu founder of the party JJ Lawrence oye sabio wudini okuma manfo basa ena omo de bete omu party we eto asikroma ebom nsam obo ani age adanya sabio nanado danko akufo ado aban no na breso foreign minister no etonton Ghana aban asase de manfo enti Mahama aban no akase yemfa ni nyina mra ka Mahama age ni nyina ade amagana nti yemo yensem a okujata brakwa na wo hwe otrofo bia so ye kromfo bia so ye trofo ene yesi suban etisen yensen woye den a ebe pia ba bonten okujata brakwa de the trony arrogance agidin wo mainum during opposition, where Din Tronaman Tronaba be a part of his character, Oku Jato Abarakwa. Kwasiampanina. Or say another the Obabe and say Obabe ye a state publishing no 24-hour. Or by send this if Okugo Amoma Kwakoda. But as a meeting as Adewe Yachiwa, Nayan to us. Who? Oh, hey. What kills me is say, anytime the MPP is in power, they build, and then Ghanaians, we will do the mistake to go and bring them to come and destroy it. And this is for. Sapicha we nila mi hu na soon edeme, na soon deme. Answer na MPP amanyo kube ba abedi Ghana man so. Na baby aye Ghana passport, ene why. Wahun sabe nkum so no de ewu hu no ba bia twere ndis no se na net yo sei na net ye baller so pa omuni omu ni o omu ye dirty people not only in political statement omu ye very dirty bro office we mu na publish ye print o passport dem out office phone we mu under ndis ha na na print office ye print o passport dem out. When the MPP came, look at how they have transformed the office into a brand new place to live, to work. ene kwasi ampanyi we say ono akwa we say obedan ono oba be yesa office we 24 hour okwasi sa NDC hooligans abegu ho na o makoda ho anajo na abanye tua wonka because the medical can chiro no NDC for shall say a campaign enti nipa ni binu mo ho they want to compensate them said be 2028 omo campaign machinery no ebeye bohwa enti ba bia adwuma kura ni no ye besesa amanfo akogu omo akoda enti Ghana Publishing House NDC abreso na etise board aso a na do ba ya omo aye ni office at the international standard level no ene okujata brakwa edi tu nanum se ono ena waye den waye bibisa enti obana ba 24 hour economy three shift ena odi ko ho yenkwase asem asu nimfa so. But that's not the reason why I am here. Yento ado akwa we ba yo se foreign minister tonton sa se mahama oda se yemfama na ndisi fogu social media no so ena omuye dede na omuye dede na otrofo ese ma dance ni e wa manone okoye onyama ya oba bedi a dance. But this time round there ankoye kura ma okujata brakwa asem we beto abonten and the former minister of foreign affairs aba abonten edin chirechiremu abeto abonten se okujato ekohwini ntrofo oye sansani de okano akukura nim na yesika kum yegene kwaku anum enti yenko nkotie the former foreign minister ekaaye edifa sa entro ni nkontompo a sabio okujata abra kwa de beto abonten ebeje fans free the shallow minded NDC supporters no yeba ni atoado.
Okay. Right. Mahama orders reversal of foreign affairs land sales under Akufo-Addo. Now you get it. Mahama orders reversal of foreign affairs ministry land sales under Akufo-Addo. This is the story.
What's your response to it?
My response is that report coming from the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Samuel Okujoto Ablakon, is 120% false.
Why?
There has never been any land sales at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs under the previous administration of Akufo-Addo. Simple reason being that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs never owned the lands in question. We have never, ever owned those lands.
But why would the minister be?
I don't know where he's coming from. I don't know. Maybe he slept on the wrong side of the bed.
Honorable, but you don't believe that a minister of state will just come out and make these
And
allegations?
I am saying that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has never, ever, ever owned those lands.
So what land is the minister
has
talking
never,
about?
ever sold any land.
So what
under the Akufo-Addo's government.
What land is the minister talking about?
I don't know where he's getting it from, whether he's dreaming or he was conjuring it from somewhere. But those lands that he's referring to are not lands that were owned by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That is number one. Number two, those lands are owned by Ghana government, controlled and managed by the Land Commission. Any allocation that had been done in that area was an allocation done by the Land Commission.
Yes. And Mimia Evans and Kama Kofi Mwakwa pa. And to say who post way Bia. First of all, it doesn't make sense. Second, Nipana yedena to ho ya twere saade na gu ase no. Nipa no ekohwini trofo. Nkonkonsa nipa nyini kakraka pa. Third, the Foreign Affairs Minister has no land. Fourth, the Foreign Affairs Minister of the former administration or the the recent administration. One Thomas Asibia and the Minister of Foreign Affairs Ministry. Entro. What? Populism, you can say populism sympathy. Ena okuja tabra kwa everywhere. Because they are not fulfilling. So now they are finding a way to deceive people, say they are doing something. And this no beka entro asam no kano enye no correct, neither there or here, neither up or down, neither left or right. It is all what? Palpable lies. Complete lies. Complete what? Lies. Na yenye ni makwa we so no de entro. Ye na akwa one mahama minim who lies. Hein. Papa we okuja to abrakwa. Oni John Darigat na mani mahama. Minim sa nkrofo menu hwan ne nim ntro die. Sa nkrofo se mo Guinness World Record in terms of lying. Omo ya trofo papa. Anything these people say, when you hear it, please don't go out and talk about it. One way you know what didn't throw. Yes, one way you know what could go animase. Because I will catch the be. Then nipping a critical thinker. I say no, you are shallow-minded. Why do you say? And obeji okuja tabra kwa nensema obeka tum. Anasa asama mahama beka obeji atum. Yese wo de wano edo nwira edenen kasai enwo. So them because of sa ebe we ya mebuchire winti no omunim kwan omofa so de omoano edo enwire yie pa. To omo de omoano no do nwire na eduru ba bia na omo ahya ase ede omoano no nso na yeden ka de omonim just to cover the lies that they made. And this is a palpable lie. Eyentro kese pa. Okuja tabra kwa yikohwini sansani. Baby okuja tabra ko bia monka nche se voter region ho. Eponso na etwifa amanfo so onko ho. Onko ye video so mra. Sebio akosombo dam spirit change ara ye friend saying esi ya na akwa we enna because of public sympathy say populism sympathy say why na odi dede because he wanted to win elections no ene nkrofo no nso na se atwa form so we enya Akufo-Addo na ye mo ban ene tie akonwam kona kotwa video na fa be kire what is going on there owan entrofo kohwini okuja tabra kwa kohwini I'm a printing press owner. I'm a printing press owner. Me to me a high dime $15,000 per month. It was a cantonment to say airport here. So, say papa we entrona any guna dream and troni a koshie and a papa we show no there. Na bra boom and his entire what political career no enwa ena obeye ye di ntro e kan de ye nim ye bunko ye chichire adeso ade aso amanfo abu omu kon mu enwa ena kwa we so no de ne politics e oye no enwa na obeye dey obeye e de okuja tabra kwe for wanim twi form na unfortunately for you and lucky for the MPP this time MPP for we say tie bono eso e was say suntwa Tai bonne Mr. Gentle no. Yahu se wo se suntwa. Se nkrofo we di besi. Na omunya matache mu a. E wo se yenso yenyi ye mpaboane ye na omunkohia e wo atache no. Ne yemfansi ani. Because nyesa entro ebeba no e doso pa. Entro na ebeba ne doso. Se ya mo amfa nhia wo na they will destroy the image of the party. But Nyankopon adom, the minister himself has come out boldly to tell Ghanaians to say anything that you heard from Okuja Tabrakwa concerning the fact to say Nanado Ayeden, Nanado Atonton, foreign ministry lands no ayentro. Sent a video no beam, then you move to the next level.
Okay.
right? Mahama orders reversal of foreign affairs land sales under Akufo-Addo. Now you get it. Mahama orders reversal of foreign affairs ministry land sales under Akufo-Addo. This is the story.
What's your response to it?
My response is that report coming from the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Samuel Okujoto Ablakon, is 120% false.
Why?
There has never been any land sales at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs under the previous administration of Akufo-Addo. Simple reason being that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs never owned the lands in question. We have never, ever owned those lands.
But why would the minister be?
I don't know where he's coming from. I don't know. Maybe he slept on the wrong side of the bed.
Honorable, but you don't believe that a minister of state will just come out and make these
And I am
allegations?
saying that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has never, ever, ever owned those lands.
So what land is the
And
minister
has
talking about?
never, ever sold any land.
So what
under the Akufo-Addo's government.
What land is the minister talking about?
I don't know where he's getting it from, whether he's dreaming or he was conjuring it from somewhere. But those lands that he's referring to are not lands that were owned by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That is number one. Number two, those lands are owned by Ghana government, controlled and managed by the Land Commission. Any allocation that had been done in that area was an allocation done by the Land Commission.
Abusuanti na se de wo ho no asem na de me postu kire no sa postu we na me postu kire no eye ntro wotene oba bia ka kire won se wonya nkontompo ene nabraba ene nsem keka ne nkwasa keka na wonyai na they are not in opposition, they are now in government, and too much propaganda no agiomutim. When you are in government, you don't do propaganda, but rather you do the job that the good people of Ghana has given to you to do. Enti asem no said no. Nobody has sold any land. And now me the pass MPP from 1.4 who say a boot for booto. Omo kana wa me defend o ho a ya can't also. And internet does not forget to. People will look at this post and they will make a determination, or they will decide on how they should see you as MPP leaders. So I congratulate this foreign minister, this deputy foreign minister, for coming out boldly to expose the lies that Kakaure Oku Jato Abrakwa put in the air. Abusiamfo, there is a lot of differences between the NPP and the NDC. Well, in terms of having people in the parliament, NPP for man or more parliament no. Omo anu ate, omo ni mukasa, omo ni mamamuo ho said ye sitie. Omo ni mkwan ye fa so ye hihye amamuo. Omo nim kwan ye fa so ye present issues in parliament, because omo ye nim de for omo ye nipa ya hye that te won in terms of governance. And the dombe can be ano, they know how to put the things in order for it to make sense and for you to get actually what they want to tell you. Unlike the NDC and their women, that when they are talking, it will take you 70 hours. 70 good hours to listen to them, and at the end of the day, you may not even understand what actually he wanted to tell you. And Now, let me show you a video of an NPP woman talking in parliament. Actually, now I bought a video of an NDC woman trying to make sense in parliament. And so now you backfire. How even to articulate his voice was a big problem. And here we are now, yayede yatuaso ede akko yanim. Into there, let's do it like this. Listen to this. This time the woman fa time wemra fauto beji what beji MP position. With
determination, if you are able to tell,
Abusian for Muntio. Mami way. Oh, thank you very much, my senior Q. I say I like your cognitive analysis. You are one of the best pages. Great work. You deserve more views. Thank you, bro. Gradually. I think say we will get there. Yes. Abusian for woman radio. This time, say a fauto bedi MP. Wait, when I know. Mama me yeso ayo. Hey, already I go for. Abaya we bompoya there. Ultimu say yes. We are show on passoa. Yeah. Well, be feely. I phobia. When Mr. Q, you know, I mami or chima, or I am a lay. Well, no. Hey, no wonder we have the oral team. No wonder we have the oral team in the NDC. Yes, a found team. Yes, this time around, you will found to be the MP in the NDC parliamentarian and the NDC ministers and deputy ministers. Baby, now you found to be position. And you found to be golf BMO. Found to be golf. It never exists. But because of hatred, we claim for to be golf. And then, to have a position in the NDC government, you had the tour near no, a mobile, a sokama, a bit juma. That is what we base on to give position. Way of Mianka Sam aside the home, Bono. When I name what Tuna not to say the original car can be so ever Holland. Slave Queen MP. I Sunyani West, Slave Queen Brofo. I Brofo Pa. Now dear. Oh God of Nazareth. God, may God have mercy on our part, on our nation. We are into the hands of stupid people. We for one no to be position pa. Me say hey, many of these MPs are more and this. It is not about their intellectuality or their knowledge. It is about stupid popularity to be or more area. Me Mark Vanofori mo akwa papa. We no man in the be a war mo team and omo de anya position so. Dabi. Mami Esther wasirisa. Hi, mami, asempa na me karo. Fa woto ne wa no beji position. Ai, wo to bi efe. Ano no nipa ne hwe na bibibi eba ni team a etumi di gina so position. Kama pa. Eye fa woto beji. We no mo nim hwe. Wait. Photosynthesis no kosua na wo school. Photosynthesis no kosua no okowe ne baba edigu ni team. Okowe ne baba edigu ni team no ode pass ne exams. Ena sam kwasi ahyawo popularity bi onya na osunyan west ho. Ena sabio ya nkasa ye minister for youth and employment. Papa ya ni team ene asante kotokoko board ansem sisi ye. Wati team nti waja MPP amanyoko na abofo say takwa. Ena papa mami we sa ahyawo ni we. Sire queen we. Eye the representative for the good people of what? Of Sunyani West. Abusamunte, oh, that be ona. Me, I don't like that topic. A yard here can say a Bono for near Sante for. Well, some people feel say maybe Bono is a village. Ubuao. Me, I don't like that tribal issues. I hate it because the point the type of caliber that me team no. I don't get to that level. Say me see where you Asante, where you can. I don't go there. But what I want to tell you is say, Bona hafu. Hey, se Bona hafu. Na no match chima ye baby a hafu na ye baby Bono na ye baby Savannah or whatever. But yeah, Cap Bona hafu pa. It is one of the biggest region in the whole Ghana, and a region and what the biggest what them call cities across the whole Ghana. It was Sunyani, it was Brekum, it was Doma, it was Wanchi, it was Techimai, it was Sampa. Just say a big cities and the Wabono. Now see a case Sunyani. Sunyani is the regional capital for some Kuaka say Amaboni dinner, Amaboni dinner winyana. Drobon so ente Sunyani no eye babia. Sunyani is the one of the most cleanest city in the whole of Ghana. Kurukasi pa ni Sunyani. Ente se me ko parliament na me go say ahyawo ni we na te Sunyani ejina parliament in hey ya me ya. Ai we dey fa to no wa no beje pa ni. Fa wo to ene wa no ebeje na yenko. Wait. Nti me Sunyani. A big city like Sunyani with knowledgeable people, intelligence and intellectual people. Ya nyo bia bafo wa we DMPP abone asen di wan kasa unkrofo bone. We DMPP fo abone bafo wa. We DMPP fo bone asen di wan kasa unkrofo bone. Ene we nkwasi aba won na ejina parliament de ma Sunyani West. Sa nipa we de na obetumi akwaje e de abra Sunyani fo. De na obetumi akwane parliament ho. Akwa apart from so de na to na no ebe koso so niamam ama ye de ensa so niamma bi mu oba bi. De na maame obetumi de ababono. Bafo we wahu. Unim so ye MPP fo bone. Wahu de asi, umenti ne brofo na. Umenti.
If you are able to tell collapse banks, and people who was unemployed, you cannot today say that. But even Mr. Speaker, with determination, yesterday I am so surprised. My respectable colleague, he made mention that he couldn't even hear. He couldn't even hear that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama spoke about job creation, and then he said any initiatives. But if
Honorable MS. Yesterday, I'm very sad. Yesterday, I'm very sad. Past, present, you didn't have boom. Yesterday, I'm very sad. What to be that? What did Obega say? Yesterday, and no, I'm very sad. About what? Now see, Koras banks, people, you can't say Koras bank. People working, people are not working with termination. Just say, Jimmy Kanipano one phone. Well, oh God, Jimmy Ankasa, a common phone. Jimmy, at Docro Sankro Fuwe. Any issue of language in Kwao. Meme tu mente brofo, meme nimsa mente brofo. Pese me kese me ka brofo ba ko na beba no nyansa wo because adwene na dani pani team no na ma wo kasa. And they say even if your sentence no kura na enye kama, the senses in what you want to say makes sense. But we Jimmy not also termination. So Mahama Chucha man for Juma kwasiaba. You are admitting some Mahama Chucha man for Juma, and what we should congratulate him for doing that. Jimmy, no wonder for our tubeji position, for our no besom abeji position, and na yedi teacher so was sunyana hwa na we say you are somebody. Escafo mo sunyana na baya way or my and conto fre. Me and me catch now. Sunyana so we lame. Ah, sunyana de o mi lame mo. Sa sunyana ne bono area holding a hodi mo lame mo. Network ni ye juma. Network no a ye juma. The ye pese hu bia to me human ye. Sa ba your way. Escafo mo sunyana nyina mo de na salai. Na bafo awua atopa kakra obebu nti wagogo ho atopa nti ama abayo awe na ene obegyina wanan mu obi a ye ma minister for youth and employment watimi atopa kakra obebu abayo awe hu nti no wagogo ho na abayo abe hey, some people are very wicked. Now I only say no kwa. O de tie. Me sinkrofo mo hu ehu o tie we so tie. Tie ma me we so.
What is the title of It's the Gender Affirmative Action Act, the Equity Act 2020. Yes, I want to state it clearly. Was what I see on the order paper.
Mr. Speaker, yes, the order paper did not. It's the Affirmative Action Act, Act 2024. That's the Equity Act. It's the Gender Affirmative Action Act.
Parliament in Apobo. Ready to go for my mistake. Wait. When a timber shiba drabeko echo day, echo chichrim radia mount. Ah, Gara for Pamo to Quasiabo. I also pay attention. Jarubwa kra. My minimum na sepa ye. Hey. Enti ahefo na kosa alai koto abama nipa we so nkojira ho se ono asem na oka na onim de oka ho de amanfo atwera ama na prenti ama na ekita ne nsam na okenkan so he don't know even how to articulate himself, herself. We are a gender ministry, are the minister of gender, such a sensitive ministerial position. Such a sensitive what? Institution. Eda kwashe winsem. We ya unim di oka. I'd say plus the NOB. Say my colleague, the majority told me that I have to say something. I want somebody poor, na ya pen ya. I plus the NOB. The majority whip told me I have to read this, and I'm reading. And to what they kind of that is the same thing. I said, Minister, speaker, no, say they are doctor no who the on yet. What is the title? Not Ochuchanani. She don't know what to say. I was stereotype and this. Hey, you want somebody pull your yourself Ghana for. I go with fun and go for yeah. Hey, Parliament na ya fusar. Parliament na ya fusar. Parliament ene eche concert party no. Ohudi onka. Aseme wo so onka mfa nkyere okane sen speaker no ohun kwan omfa so na waka no onim ne ka onim kwan emfa so ka no brofo na nka so no to use na ono onte brofo no asem no person kan onte ase onim die ntie wo se onka sa asem no mfa nkyere MP speaker no nti obeye dan na waka ne wonyansa kwan so amana ato nipa so ha abusia wane bay abato de enke kwa koto a yekoto abade yinim difo ne nyansafo ma won ne dan ekodi anim ewo enfa ewo abanya krachi ho na bibia omumoma agina ho akasa ede amayen nipa omunim nyansa wonim de nim kwan a yefa so kasa en yo se yento aba yekoto aba yi won so omunko represent yen nanso enye sa enete now let me show you the difference video way let me show you the difference. Let me show you the difference now. Video way. Way minka party of freedom, but one kasa. Ubeti ase.
Go to the IMF empty-handed.
Aha.
So we did not.
Aha, mami we so no so yam pisa. Ofri he. Comment section. According to you, which part of this minority and the majority? Where do you think this woman belongs to? Tino.
Don't go to the IMF empty-handed, but we went with our plan. Mr. Speaker, clearly, we in the MPP never shied away from the challenges in the economy. We were honest about it. And that is why we came up with the PCPED program, the post-COVID-19 program for economic growth. That is what we came up with. We did not lament. We did not throw our hands in the air. We acknowledged the challenges and came up with this program, which we sent to the IMF to assist us in the bailouts. So we did not go to the IMF empty-handed, but we went with our plan. And 2 years down the line, Mr. Speaker, you see, everybody can tell that truly the plan yielded some results. Let me start with the financial sector, Mr. Speaker. For us, the data is clear. We left a much stronger financial sector than what we inherited in 2016. Mr. Speaker, this is why I say so. In 2015, an asset quality review report was done with the IMF, stating the strengths and weaknesses of the banks. And in that report, we saw that some of the banks were bleeding. President Mahama at that time failed to do the needful. He failed to stop the bleeding. In 2016, he failed to stop the bleeding. It took a strong and decisive leader in the person of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to do the needful. To forestall the total collapse of the financial sector. And Mr. Speaker, as a result of this, 1, we were able to save 4.6 million depositors' money. 2, the total banking assets, which we inherited in 2016, was around 81.2 billion Ghana cedis. By October 2024, the total banking assets, which we had, was 367.5 billion Ghana cedis. And this was in October 2024.
The difference is what? It's clear. Aye, where your mami jata. Aha, nti we say no unya na 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 ma. Enye fa woto ne wa no beji nko we ne wo ho. make argument and this if we member no krano sign they cannot what face her. Unlike the other people where they go for slave queens to come and lead them. Yeah, me and Q say loud and clear or MPP Niba, Alfred Perry Yowson, so say MPP Niba. Yes, and this Niba cannot talk with confidence like this. Because no two okasana hope upon usuru of fere. Argument amami we ye MPP and this ni bema bit ho a press intimi nkasa say e parliament. This woman is what we call a woman with balls who can lead when you for tobaji when you for nyansa beji position ayanko yanim for contribution beboa for unim de ne wadwene wo wuti ne beboa na oman ne mpaja ne ntoma nkaifo we no omo de omo ano maflextex ye kan say and omo de abetatra ho and omo ni di nsemfo. Look at this thing too. Tie another thing. Yeah, I obi edifices. The
whole statement is about Corella, and Corella this year is started from Ada. And when you want to understand what Corella means, which means somebody has eaten feces. Mr. Speaker.
Corona means somebody has eaten faces. And in Crawford way na representatives of Mugu Parliament. What are you expecting from them? And in the another make say, don't expect to say Mahama will bring a bill in the Parliament and these people can challenge him. I want to challenge you. Because they don't have the critical thinkers among them. They are only few. And the majority carry the vote in the parliament. So at the end of the day, any law that Mahama want to pass, he just have to bring in the parliament. And this unnecessary slave queen bottom one and wine on beto. So we are in a very big and serious problem. Yanko yanim, let's shift from the slavery and slave and bottom come for it na asifo no na yem koye nim kakra enra the former Atiponko so NDC waka sempa kiw hi tipo somebody has eaten faces because the former minister for finance Eka Assembly or say the difference between the NDC and the MPP na clear. The MPP borrow money to develop. Was the NDC borrowed to chop?
Which he left to us. We borrowed money to develop the country. The MPP borrowed money to develop the country. This is very significant. We borrowed the money, but we developed the country. Because how do you determine that the money the government borrows has been put to good use, to productive use? You do that in terms of economic activity. You do that in terms of the size of the economy. At the time we left office, President Akufo added $20 billion US dollars
to the GDP?
The size of the GDP.
In 8 years?
In 8 years.
20 billion
US dollars.
So you mean GDP was what in 17 when you came in?
GDP was around 54. 54
when you
we
came
brought
in.
it to around 74.
And the 74 when you
yes,
20 billion.
Yes. But look at the opposite.
What's the opposite?
When President Mahama borrowed, he borrowed so much also, which he left to us. We saw a contraction in GDP by $10 billion from 2013
to 17
to 2016.
GDP went down.
Went down by 10
That means
billion.
economic activity.
Because when Professor Mills
but that
left,
you can attribute to Doomsday.
yes, when Professor Mills left, it was 64.
And when Mahama was leaving?
It was 54.
You can attribute that to Doomsday.
Well, we can also attribute what we are saying to things that have happened which the NDC is not agreeing to.
And MPP increased.
Look at Doomsday. Look at the global crisis we all face.
Which is worse? The global crisis was
so
a bigger
if with Doomsday, we saw a contraction in GDP by $10 billion. Now with the COVID, that affected everybody, including Ghana. With the war in Ukraine, which they are not admitting to, which affected supply chains, the global supply chains.
And therefore increasing commodity prices.
Yes, we increased GDP by 20 billion United States dollars.
Interesting.
That's the difference between us. And so I say that If this is the best record of President Muhammad so far, what is the guarantee we are going to see better days? I want us to see better days.
Let me close and let me take you more into politics and nearer the ballot.
What is the guarantee? Now with the Ghana for one, I say, well, be shall share social media so will come for you. Jimmy, John Mahama decreased the GDP. Otisikano so they were 64 billion US dollars. In 4 years, Mahama etrikonachi by 10 billion. On Fabian Kahu or Teso, and I don't buy in 8 years or the 20 billion account. And that is the difference. This is because Sankwasi former we ya me bomb video we. These are the people who are the decision makers for the country. So where do you want to go? Where do you actually want to go? Where in your propaganda? These are real fact and figures that we are talking about. Yanko ya nimna yamfa program no mara na we me ameso say and then your first time I want to PM ewo haya. Mamadre na subscribe to the channel. Mamadre so na like video no. Na kai na dwene hu se wo se mfa won sansi adoma no so. Said de be ya me ba life brebia ubenya nkaibo semaba na oba be join na ye the program no ahihye so. Ye nyina na ye pro ha e adwen kire fie. Obia etimi kire na adwen kama wo ha na niam ekoso ye. Abusia Yehuda John Buadu, the former general secretary for the RPP, eko PMU, ewo OB, ewo Asempa TV, ewo ekosi senso. Na papa ne ka asem bi me pese me no nyina ye ntentie. Ewi ana the video nkaya to aso. Yeah.
The ball MPP aban no. It was because President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo FSC ne also say he's placing his presidency on the line.
On the line, yeah.
Nti effort oye nyina no all those say eboa no entumi entwakra no ema ye ball no so bo bebre. But clearly, if you wait and do 3 months, and if you see the damage, yet to our water bodies, and this one by known activists of the so-called saints, no more dream say galam say no, it is only MPP that. This is a trade that started before colonial times. Any political color. It assumed political color because of maybe a licensing and those kinds of things that man go for it. Because I've known a friend is saying the National Women's Organizer.
Yes.
She's been into mining all her life. Akwetianovi, your former regional chairman, Kisi.
Yes.
He's into mining. Want to be anyone if it that. He's into mining. And I know there are NDC people all over the place who were into mining. So na me cheno. Nti asamba. Ekwa ebe fa so a ebe resolve no. Say fa say can so he said e fa so ya. To the extent say do baby close across or call demonstration because he mining.
Oh yeah, galamsey.
Yeah, galamsey, illegal mining. You understand? Nti enche bia. Ye nyina ye be hu say ano a ye de bobesiano
enye no an editua
enye no an editua eno na emede say ebedu baabi no ye nyina ebete ye ho ase as we move on kasa bebre ne nsema akese aye kekenya. It's like
yes, and the Opana Kenyans assembly or hapa say Ghana for the NDC for the Omwanu si adoga guy so etwen a form the D na tem can someone more the final just because the man stood on his feet. He said he wanted to fight and eliminate Galamsey from the society. Now, Sabio, and I'm saying, Anano, a being an can say, Obe finish Galamsey in our system. You know, people what fair to say because the things were not working, or no, nay, but then, what is going on? And yana nado na tia kunyaso. Say MPP for na yegadam say momfa the government machine, the power in the government to go to the forest and block them. The civil society for na muye de wo krom adugaram say no. And na monko na monko kuma mu MPP for momfa to ne second cool na monko ku na munyi o monfigura no mo say suo no. So yes, we for nsano now we hear dear. Nanado did not want Galamsey to go on, but unfortunately, the political men, NDC and MPP, nipa bone for mu how mo ye Galamsey, even though their government was fighting against it, but the money political instead of saying be to say national kanka ye kun edietiano. Ene Nanado ntia kunya so biem. The ekoso wo man num eso sene de ye hu ne dada. Ene o man no adane Republic of Banana Republic. Enkwasi afobrim so omo aban na aba. We eya temudi a nyansa wo. Enkrofobrim se omo aban na aba nti de omo pe na omo ye ne wo man num. To omo ato agum e na omo ye de omo pe. Enti ne who are born and now do the money because of Galamsey? Who are Uchabo MPP Amanyoko because of Galamsey? Who are Ujina Babi can say MPP from paying for no more Galamsey because of more to me, your more by your heads in shape. Because I to me no, and Nina Nado Hobby. To me no, I want this for. And say no, Cress MPP for an Galamsey, yeah, and nobody needs to complain. Munko Muho. Namonfa o mine to me no enkoye den enkochichi won na wonfa wonkogum na Galamsey no eto ntwa ho na ebagimu adi na se mo antumi anya de a na say everything that you were saying were all what propaganda, cheap propaganda.
Their work is to inform policy direction and an impending enforcement drive. In some instances, the team is compelled to step in to take action to stop the impunity of illegal miners. One of such places is Anya, close to Nkrofo. The illegal miners have eaten deep into the road, almost destroying the concrete storm drains. The team raided their camp, immobilized their equipment, and set their camps on fire. Rear Admiral retired Moses Bekbafo is a member of the team.
This area is called Anya. We saw that mining activities are taking place very close to the road. So we stopped to speak to the people to find out if they have any licenses. And when they saw us, they took off, ran into the bush. There were about over 50 people. So when we got down, we saw this covert here. They have dug through the storm drain and then exposed the concrete and the base. It is almost on the road. Beyond that, they have also dug to as close as 10 feet from the road. It is already caving in, and once the heavy rain sets in, we think that part will cave in and it might affect the road and render it unmotorable.
A similar illegal mining operation behind a technical school at Nkrofo was halted by the team. Pumps, generators, and other equipment were seized. At Badwa number 2 in the Upper Dentra East District of the Central Region, the team raided this illegal mining site, polluting the Ofin River. Residents say the Galamsey operation exposes them to floods and adversely affects farming in the area.
Even when the land had not been mined, we suffered from floods. So you can imagine what will happen with this level of degradation when it rains. We are hopeless and worried. We will be in trouble in June when the rain sets in.
And send the higher papa because
We used to fish in this river, but now it has been so polluted, it is affecting farming and even our source of water.
And I'm Mrs. Takasa, and I'm Mrs. Dabi. Yes, I don't want them because you want to know Mama out of her, and she'll be a when you bet me a son and Kadiade.
Minutes after the raid, the team was accosted on the road by an angry NDC constituency chairman who says he was not consulted before the operation. Some party faithful, some of whom were mining in the town, blocked the road, preventing the team from assessing the impact of galamsey in the town. An aerial scan revealed a huge excavation in the middle of the Dunkwao township, close to the main bridge. An angry mob, threatening to face off with the armed soldiers, besieged the bridge where the team had parked their vehicles. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
Yes, and now the Dankwa Kufadu Garam say ni MPP for Shawate, NDC constituency chairman. And when MPP was in power, the NDC were empowering these guys to do Galamsey, and they come out again and complain saying Anado and Ama Galamsey Koso. Someone we are here, ye young who we. I mean, and Kwasiafubi no motiti media no so no modi Galamsey, eye de no. Where are them? Kwasiampanyi Kevin Taylor. Into who the Ekosu? Ah, uhui. Abusia, mabie phone last na tum. Utumi frɛ na wachire wadre. And let the sound no ye pa tu fra. Bibia jijim kama pa. Ofre ya yetine kama pa. I was young for your beer phone lines not to. Ultimate friend, now watch the wardrobe. Ultimate friend, now watch the wardrobe. Our platform, no so. Yeah, number no, and a dash your home. So I busy. Mechia, Mimia Panini, Mimia Ba, Sister Coach, Yameche, Mechia Yepa, Joyce, Mr. Q. Thank you very much for being here with me. Fred Perry and Phobia Member TV. Phobia Member. So our Facebook. When a chair quite and support no. Now or my Ghana any MPP. Afro. Mommy Afro. Pioneer Afro. Yes, mommy. I want to say. Jaru kwa pia mechiao ena mame Esther mechiao yepa Van Mike Van Ofori mechiao ena Evans and Kama Kofi. Bro, how are you doing? Mimi ya Kofi aje mechiao pa Young Ofoi mechiao ena mame ya kuya tutua. That is mame Monica mechiao. Sapon Kofi from Cote d'Ivoire, Mechia Yepa, and Nana Bema Mechiao. Mamia Quenya Comechia Yepa, and Mimia Kakari TV. Mimia Kakari TV, the old SKB TV. Utimi when a chiakwan YouTube no so. Our support on Nania Mako Ye, and the Amami Binti SKB TV and Yajuma BM, and your friend Kakari TV and there. To be when a chiakwan, our support no. Mike Umbet Mechiao pa Patrick Owusu Ansa Mechiao Sami Jesse from Hamburg Mimi Mechiao ye pa why be people that don't give what my Mrs. Sira Jamfi Mechiao na my Miss Cynthia Frimpong Mechiao Rose Hurukaya Mechiao ye pa Francofi Mechiao me ma me retapia me cheo ye pa Khalif Jabe me cheo ena me ankasa if we were ba ko pe maame Esther K Badima me cheo nso ye pa abusia phone lines no mabie edem utumi frɛ na wakyerɛ wadwen afa nsɛm a ene RAZ Media ene Mr. Mafu ye ka ye ho bo mu a ye de ebesom no nso wafrɛ na wakyerɛ wadwen na wakyerɛ wadwen ɛwɔ platform no so phone lines no ene egu ase ho no amemfa video we ntwam na ye ntwɛn sɛ obi bɛfrɛ.
Speaker, let me address one very important matter, which is the question of the size of government. And indeed, the president, when he addressed this house, made the claim that he had formed the leanest and most effective government in the history of our country. So, Speaker, I want to submit that you can have 10 ministers, another government can have 20 ministers, and the government that has 20 ministers may have a smaller government machinery, a smaller government size than you who have 10 minutes. And I want to demonstrate that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's on record. The record is that the pegging or ranking of officials of the presidency are as follows, Mr. Speaker. Since the inception of the fourth Republican dispensation, the chief of staff is pegged at the rank below the Speaker of Parliament, but above a cabinet minister who doubles as a member of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, a senior presidential advisor is pegged.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening to you, Mama.
As you say.
Pacho me hoye pa. Na onso e.
Yami adumo. Then dia me tona me ko na fe dia mabra me kura kyese me ho nam yara me dafa.
So wanantia ja uchinchi.
Eh, manante papa.
O hwe krom.
Mananta me hwe krom di me ne me tie busuafo ne o tie fo nyina.
Abusuafo nyina ejo so ma.
Mr. Mafo. Ghana for bibi ena eye. Bibi eye ne say ye kan when a con man is a con man, he's always a con man.
Yeah.
And who is the con man? Our latest president is a con man. Mahama, the president Mahama, excuse my language, people forgive me. He is my president, but my president is a con man.
Yes, you must say it with boldness. David,
I have to say it with honest truth.
Yeah.
The whole world knows Mahama is a con man. So other people doesn't even understand. The whole world, some country up to now doesn't understand that why Ghanaians voted Mahama back in power. Because our IQ is so low.
Very low.
That's why we brought President Mahama back to power. And already, he has announced that Ghana has a short memory.
Yes.
And he has proved to the whole world that, yes, indeed, Ghana had a short memory.
Yeah, he was right.
That is why he can sit over there, still continue lying to the nation, deceiving them, making them look like an ant in his eyes.
Yeah.
And look what Juma and Papa Nolian. And you talk, our friend, and you talk, Dondaman Mama, Onibi.
David.
Onibi, or the pampas, or that button. What will brace the answer? Onye you kumpo, when you it's a better way that could some and nobody will hold him accountable. Mr. Mafo. Oh, Pierre will hold Mahama accountable because the whole world, I catch them some by special diaspora for.
Yes.
I catch them some by my papa. And so man, they want you know, and I make on him.
Oh, ya grandpa, see, I can't so pano and throw for.
Mama, you know, Cassion in our way, as so be no I would say. Now, if we send a moya, and then abang moya here, boy. Slave queens on Kwani Adomo Buton tankers.
Yes.
Obia or Dunsa. The Jews should become on what or yes, excuse my language, what a bottle crampono, and our parliament or MPP at them. One drops who can Mahama appointees.
Yeah.
Almost support and almost sure as Mr. Mafu Fatchaman. Can. But they got the nerve to insult NPP people.
Yeah.
Now you can't among one. Momu Buma da ben.
Then a munim farmer.
On mine. And this is for Mumu Buma. Or Momu this time crowd there. Or Momu parliament or cry airtime is so disgusting.
Yes.
And tossing in the pony yard, one more morning in our home.
Yeah.
War appointed woman. Now the most painful part, me do we yow at the mammy my Ghana. So-called the Christians. So-called the Christian, the opinion leaders, or say, Omoya Christopher, Ghana is a Christian nation. Where are they? Mr. Mafu, way.
Say, Bibi show more num. A tram or more d.
Me bad, the most part is a software. Me demand to so me GDD, Daniel Uswasiama. Other super, your baby pretty Sunday. Let me feel fair. The preaching or preaching, it comes from the heart. He's telling, he's being honest and the truthful. But I say, the floor. On the Bastin and with a cathedral. Now, me person in far corner will show me Bustan say. Arch village na yes, a dear one was some can. And I'm a band you slow. Nana do not Jimmy and me boa. It's ya what ya what on a beer cocky carnibi. Nanado, president. So Daniel Uswasiama. And you say me disrespectful. You can't bluff and say.
Disrespect too.
Yes, but as a messenger of Christ, I'm only putting the right in the right place to say, would Lambasin Anado. That wasn't fair on him. But see an arch village, I didn't now would you to ma. Now be pretty, I don't be frank ma. Preaching different. Ada obesha particularly, preaching different. Ada obesha tie any suit so may preaching different. What do you have to say about this one? Have you seen Galamsey crowd the one who told me NDP before any two Galamsey? What do you have to say? Daniel Uswasiama, Church of Christ, suffer. Again, I woke up. Someone yama wunya chumaye. And yet, here ordinary Ghanaians are all innocent. Oh, only she said, for the moment. What would the NDC? Or Cassa, who buy it? Ever Cassa and Nado, appointees, so bigger.
Yeah.
So for Daniel Uswasiama, who say the size of the government, too big. So, see, the size of Mahama government, is getting to 400.
Yeah.
And you're big, Anna.
The biggest one.
You can be my father. Is it not too big? I don't know what we are saying. No, you're some any hypocrite. Editia ya minor. Edima one can cray. I'm a Ghana and net dear Yaminuka say Ghana 68 Nebua.
Yes.
I got 2 years, not Ghana Ekonya 70 years. A dear Namusam Penifo will move worker. Yes, see, Yenene Yasasso. Yena Nanamu Bayebi. And Omaja Omana Maye. Say yes, you be a day at Wasso. What is all of your contribution towards Ghana development and the growing of Ghana for future children, for generation to become? My contribution is saying, what I'm more selfish, more greediness, and more judgmental. ajiade we free simply because Dr. Mahmoud Baumia eye kremoni.
Yeah.
Simply say oye kremoni. Me person me busa asofo ni nyina say what got to do with a Muslim and Christian? If the Muslim man will make my life in peace,
yeah.
What got to do with his tribal and also you can say religion? What Bible tells us? Bible says we should love one another. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Yes.
But when it goes to 2024 election, Mama Ghana, you say, Mumu bimu ye nyachum. And excuse my language, I'm not insulting. What should I say? When Munyansa ye before, said the Mahama Kayan. Mindi Matemo, I'm using Mahama language. The NDC for Kaya Mukoto Abama Mono. I'm not insulting anybody. I'm using that language towards all the leaders in Africa. You are weak when it comes to knowledge and wisdom and religion background. Said the Yakupoka, say, you break that protocol for Christ. You break it, no. Na mu expect to say, mu bompaye, na mu simu trase, na mu bompaya. May God also listen to you. Mu gukopana ni masi basa basa. Kampe na mahama ye.
Wanye.
Mudi ye at to silver platter so at the amano. And I'm expecting you after my preacher. And I say, Miss Sophia, who got a yesinina, echo kind of preno. So we be be honest to come back and apologize to all your listeners. Because yes, idea me ni nyanko pon me somo no me kwa wade anim na me no me munyinala.
Amen.
Adan na mo ma entity ya baye mu sakramoni me nua kramoni to na Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia ye president na se bibi ne ho bata no obenya sika ade ne ba ko school obenya sika atua ne ba school fees a me problem ne say nanadu musi nanadu ne na ban ye kronfo nanadu ne na ban abaye create and loot and share, but at least they were sensible to give some of the shelling cake to ordinary Ghanaians. Yes. And that is what called a school fees and a free education to Ghana for. Asafune, Sesia Mahama, Sikana Orian Mumunie. Or buy your own 2 months on fine, you cram by it.
I budget
58 billion.
Yes.
Ediana Moka. Also, Maki come on watum. Nana did dear. Abua bia would join bia, Plako bia, Shaluko Titi and so, a punta sugar so, but he didn't say a word. Mahama Bay and Moyani Abatumu radio station, Moyani come on watum. Media for Galam said any atachana air questiono. Ayi ekwana momu tuna sesia eye duro yi no ede na mo woka eno so na ado nkrofo na etu. At least when Anadu was in power, he tried his best to make the water look clean.
Yes.
So here mawu di aye coffee and aye hot chocolate me wo pan no da me fridge so a me fa me bomu ana ye kan jimia. No one that said the whole word. You to me rate from 8 in a QI code. No?
Yeah.
Yes, I have 6. Yes, I have 6. Say, if we are seeing like 250 countries, no, yen and the Yajimo ha. Because ni papa wo near Betua Bamana, Mako Tua Bama, Kronfuwe, and it didn't Ukobo Google Swa ewo.
Yeah.
Kwana Kobo Mahama. Dumso ebe piaba.
Tentempa.
Kwane kobo Mahama fraud ebeba.
Yes.
Government official one ebeba. The vice president to cross is here because right from Rollins vice president nyomu nyina anya papa. So the latest president for Mahama won't surprise me.
I say Waira from
Waira
system.
was system.
Be Anthony.
Your friend of Vice President mute.
Muted Vice President.
Muted Vice President. Ye wanna musodia. You say. Ahemfo kasa na nkoa so ye dede. If NPP bumanya na mo ye dede. Okujata brokwa. Stop fooling yourself. Stop fooling. We know that you are bragging. You are just an idiot. We are idiot. Go back to baby ukromu hono. Kwa na kwa bua womo.
Yeah.
What parliament say? You live in a $15,000 house.
Yeah.
But it's paid by your wife. It's paid by your missus. Or is the house belong to your younger sister? Okujata Brokwa. Stop lying to people. Don't think everybody is fool like your listeners. Don't think that everybody is stupid like your followers. Obia we are a foreign minister. So as you have disgraced you.
Yeah.
So have you seen yourself? A foreign minister can lie. Yeah. Oh, Ghana, Mother Ghana, please, God, have mercy on Ghana. A foreign minister can stood up and lie against his own MPs and his own foreign people, foreign ministers, people that they stole the government land.
Yeah.
Who is a thief like you, Okudata Brokwa? Who is a robber like you? You that sit in national television and tell the whole world that you live in a $15,000 house for 8 good years. And how much do you learn a month? How much do you receive a month? But you sit and don't you know that you are just an idiot? You are just a puppet.
Yeah.
You are puppet in your own job. A job you are puppet in your own appointment that John Dramani Daraga has given to you.
Yeah.
Because we are puppet.
Yes.
We are puppet. We are minister. Who got for the rest of the foreign people anymore? You are a joke.
Yeah. They don't take you serious. A liar.
Because they won't take you serious because they have already watched your vetting. Because you lie to your own citizens.
Yes.
I'm laughing. We are joker. We are puppets. So shut up there and keep quiet with your stinking mouth.
Yeah.
Okay? Now we be fool what it for now. You can't fool us. Yeah, MPP for a chita for. Yeah, MPP for no to me fully. Yeah, both TikTok, both YouTube, both to me fully.
David. The parliament could I say with 82 members of parliament.
What would you Afano?
Yeah.
Afano said he has washed his hand.
Yes.
Because you people full of mongols. We are mongols. Nobody will respect you except Muamachita for no monum tramo wiena. Namakota in Nancheko to Johnny Nanchio Triwundiamo no dear, no matter Amufumu to say in Kramine like a wolf dog.
Come there.
It's those people Okujato you can lie to. Namufa Muankasa more parliamentarians, 100 and 200 parliamentarians Namunyan. Take them back to school. Yeah, qualification. But when we stand outside and speak, we speak nicely.
Yeah, we make sense.
School. Mahama. Our point is for Muko school. Hire teachers for them. The teachers you grant a woman. I will speak my woman. What for Musika Quaquatie? Who better what to me then? A petition, dear mom, and Mama Baba Becassa. You people are embarrassed to the whole world. We are disgrace. Na menya sure say mukura mu party ayi we no mo na mo bakwa sati business ayi na mo dia be wia Ghana because menya sure say investment bia ebeba Ghana bi also Mahama 4 years birthday ebesa
amanfo slow.
Yes. Everybody scared. Na me come maximum we na makono.
Yeah.
Eno amanka.
Itio.
Senator Rollins. good evening, good morning, good morning, good danken, bonjour, bonsoir, ciao. If I were you, I would keep my mouth shut.
Yes.
I won't gather down your kings and your queens. Will smelly kings and queens, no? Men swallow more and conquer blow and samani. Papa medra. I put it to you that your father was the murderer. He was. He killed so many people and did a mass burial for them.
Yes.
Your dad in Tessinungwa Road, he stand people there and gave them firing squad. So, Senator Rollins, please be a lady and just zip your gob. Go behind doors, call those kings and queens and stop begging like a wolf dog in the parliament that they should bring whoever said Rollins was a murderer. Yes, he was a murderer.
Yes.
Let's say, Rollins is a murderer, dear. Mufa mukura mubusum yes fire dear and twaso nyama and then she be a kikabum near from a distance say Sana Rollins in your murderer. Yapasi a catch them. Momo Bedina Hobby every year your friend is saying. Ma you say or your secret agent or your betrayer.
I JB Dankwa.
JB Dankwa your betrayer. Namudia Mukasa Mukwana Muya Nipa. Papa ever took to a Santifuo bottom and what the ama would cut to baby go school. Oh, Papa, he's the most robber thief. Oh, Papa, character was set here and then the sample and the NDC for you. Near Kana, come on, drain. Yabusamo say a car. Oh, Papa, no, none didn't ne pattern in the didn't bread, a bread, one, I'm free and I'm buy.
Who were you?
Please.
Who were you?
Who are you? And who you are? Hey, Mama, I am a kind of brought food tomatoes in the corner and children no. Just keep quiet there. And shut up there. Be like a lady. Don't let us bark like a dog to you. If you don't keep quiet there, you empty phone a would do a honor. Mundi, ma bogana kronwa ya bremo, mugusu amobo, munyadi. Na mu MPs na ya dimagu a parliament wana abambabe aye ne sure ene na yi se nipa double sure na eda na ha mu no montena ho se o review nipa kro na kan ye ne dia ene mu pesa civil war esi krom ha because what you say against JB Dankwa we will come after you because JB Dankwa na de nkunoma e ba ye so mama ye ayi e ma wo mo JB Dankwa ye kan onu kwa na di freedom ba Ghana. But mo yeden mo betray no na mo kun na mo de ba be say onu na oye secret de ben
secret agent for CIA.
Aye for CIA. Hey, senator hey. Wanu tum wo na ko si upieto na upieto na so eto atete. Nsem fo akomo ka say wo ka say papa power na obenya aye no ye be so wo ye kwasi aba papa wo ye jimi for with all your educated wo ye jimi for maka I'm not afraid of you.
Udini kama ame. Or you'll be an aniati and kasem way.
Yes.
Because I school, unim the history. Unim a man for Busiam for said or more one this year when a japa dear a Yahweh guaman from commercial the moon chasso. Me and Mokai.
When you are crying, you pollute.
Dabida.
I go fast. Now, what the Ababin? Be one on a casa or ho. Sure, say bolo. Be one not Nakasa or ho. Yeah, you but a Kalini who sure because who are near Siakase.
Or Yarepa, Neadias.
What? Be a but a Kalinian show sure. Who bought parliament? Ghana who now who told that. Musolia mutu one and some funa MPP na mubremu and nesa na nado okwa 6 months nibi.
Yes.
Mahama, let me put it to you, Mahama. You see, you were a childish.
Yeah.
When Nanado was in power, every 6 months be ani efrewa na woma.
Yeah.
Your chair was always empty. Did you see Nanado? Did you see J.A. Kufuor? So who they are the wisdom leaders. Nana Dubai, Emma Wuhunis, Emma or travel say, or your panini.
Yes. And near free.
The near and he's so handsome, he's so cute.
Yes.
On the day of Wonyana, so who and one who say yes. You will nyansa, you are journey, you will nyansa, who kaboma and the mawunya wisdom no. Nana do 6 months be and what would buy the piano or conya ye empty because who's I know a man
breeding.
You were breeding, but now they have given Ghana to you. Governing shame on you. Aye, yeah, sure, shame on you. And this for money no work for money no. Mr. Marco, my phone said,
I'm sure once you don't count home on your case, mammy. Mr. Juanu, I and Antina, we are saying, I am a mere stano. Yama me stano. And then I say, in the contribution. Me mammy Joyce, and so a friend, or me and friend or not. Yes, things are not there call no. Me no aba. Me even Sankama say Mahama Pontis are all Goro boys. I completely agree with you. I Akrofoni as so more go as MPs, as ministers, so one. Now Bank of Ghana governor cry Akrofokesi, Confrocha to Amwa. Mami Joyce, you more power.
RAZ.
Mami.
It's a man for na pomo to say ya.
Yankopona dom me ho ye pa. Na so e.
Nyamia dom. Na de me sia etiefo nyina wo platform no so.
Atiefo Joshua.
It is a platform na de no destroy the dead.
Wahu.
And then o platform no. So ye the dead.
Without was it. Yeah, without was it. Yeah.
Ado show boy.
Aye, ado guy.
Ado show boy.
Yes.
Bawomia di neti.
Aye.
Ado show boy. This a man for di neti.
Yes, of course. Ado guy. Papa no yanko point shira no.
Check.
18
Papa
years.
No. Jesus. Papa no nyamie shira no akasa. Eti ma tuni de ado show boy.
Yeah.
Bawomia di neti. Papa no 80 years. She mesia ne nimu da ho.
Yes.
Ne nipedua da ho.
Strong. You know what me say be man ye.
Hey, it just said ne bibia da ho to say anyone no so sa you know buye ye no ye fa ne say sa ye fa ne dabi interchange no.
Yeah. Bibia da ho
Pokwasi interchange no.
Aye, pokwasi. Aye.
Ado show boy, Bawomia di neti.
Aye.
Me see ne nimu da ho say pokwasi interchange.
Yeah, bibia ye kre. Ana do yanko point shira. Yanko point shira papa.
Papa no yanko point shira no. Ene ya say shira MPP fuo no omuwo. Akoma padima party no.
Yeah.
Any Ghana mine no so. Ke kufuo so. Oti which for many years so.
Yes, that's what you.
John Mahama ube to me compare. Enumunyam anybody. Would you bet to me they compare kufuo krapo? Yoti which mu.
Na otu ani andi si for one gina chire. Mercy ni ho.
Omanima gravel so to say your friend say keta buano na jifa agome shibi okoyi ye ne no.
Yeah.
Sa no omanima aye. I just say this fuo ni nyina omanima ye gravels.
Is it 2 million afun wono? 2 million.
Afun. I just said they don't have any destiny, they don't have any kingdom. No. Not here and not wherever.
Ya ji 2 million ma yasen nu ye hu. Asi dun katia hu na wa ye mobo. Obua obeka.
Me see we me so mo no mo to say gravels.
Yes.
I just say omunyam asa. Mo mu nipedua no. Omu nipedua numunyam no asa enti sika no omu pe no kurapo no efe bi animu. Mr. Mafu, you can't qualify with the way 2 MPP, any Ghana for you now. NDC foɔ no ɔmo ne na mu nyinaa no wɔn koraa na sɛ wose wowɔ nyame hu me paa no a wohu animunya bi wɔ mo mu.
Yeah, but I might hope you don't know what is wrong with them.
Yes, because they have an evil mind against Ghanaians and the land. Ɔmo wɔ adwene bɔne de ma Ghana asase no ɛne amanfoɔ no ɛne ndua ne mboba nyinara egu kuro no so no ɔmo wɔ adwene bɔne de ma ɔmo enti wohu animunyam bia wɔ ɔmo ho. NPP ɛne Nana Akufo-Addo ba wɔ mmea ɔmo agya ne nyinaa nanso wohwɛ ɔmo a animunyam bia ɛni ɔmo mu. Ebi aka ɔmo nipadua na ebi aka Ghanaians na ɔmo kɔto saa kwasiamba no de ma ɔmo no. Hwɛ Nana Akufo-Addo 80 years.
Yes.
Hwɛ Messi papa yi gyina hɔ.
Yes, Adogai.
With the glory of God.
Yes, Adogai.
With the glory of God, because no bebie ni nsɛm obia nye bi diye.
Yes.
Obiara nye bi diye, NDC ni nye bi diye, PP ni nye bi diye, busumfo asɔfofo obiara nye bi diye wɔ ne nsɛm. Ɔbarima a ɔyɛ ɔbaatampa. Na John Mahama, John wo friend no kra sɛ John Dariga. Ohwɛ Ghana si anim no ɛna ɔsi wɔ anim mo agyi mi kɔ akɔfa ɔbaa ba abɛyɛ vice president. Tututututu ɛnɛ maame no wɔ hefa ɔbaatampa na enufu nyinaa John Mahama anom ne nyinaa wɔ ne koko so mo bɛnya bi anom Ghanaians ɛnɛ maame no wɔ hefa. Martin Day, Martin Edwuma bi, because no we use no and all the apɛ na konya. Ye nye ye. Ye ka too much because nyame ji Nana Akufo-Addo show man. Any ba wo mia se omo nye Ghana ye. And na me ka asɛm bi atro. Say it's a curse at the Ghanaians. Ewo Nkrumah breso. Na omu papaya because they are still ungrateful. Some of them.
A lot of them.
And to John Mahama no oba for revenge.
Yes.
Na the revenge na oba ye no obonyama bebre so na ode baye. Se Ghanaians so we need better hopa no mo adwene no mo bompai. Na nyame nkro mo up to 2028 no mo ba omia be di kuni emomo.
Amen.
Because John Mahama only good intention for Ghana land and anything of concerning Ghana than to revenge.
Yeah.
And then God your friend is a galamsey. And then abru Nana Akufo-Addo time.
Baby kwa.
Na me try will say a curse from Nkrumah. Mami try was say. And Nkrumah can say onimu say Ghana fo pe akoso money nsu aye America ka ko de yama mo.
Yeah.
Because mo boni aye mo wo mu. Boni aye no ungrateful Ghanaians have not realized to stop till now. Etienne John Mahama obetu galamsey no na nsuo ni nyina be ye America ma omo anom wo Ghana.
You betwi dey akomu fie direct. Yes.
Me say papa no oye wicked o. Papa no oye wicked o. Because ade ameti asem be catch madam Fofo ni Fofo say don't make any mistake. Whatever this man have done, he has done and gone.
Yeah.
Because mu vote no the way I mu disgrace in 2024 no. If this man come to power no, or ye nipa da sene, find Ghana. Find chemo.
Owie asa.
Exactly. It is a Ghana for one nyansa. A ban is sena sem ben no be ka mu be tia mu kwako vote ama. To say your friend is say MPP general
secretary.
Obeka say no secretary your friend is say Buedu.
John Buedu, yes.
Jamboedu. Waka no kware na ewo mu no. Galam say enye na akofo ado bri na ye di free so. Fitimbrofo. Wahun ana ye di hyase. Ntina ka omunya abotre. Na ba wo mia ni na akofo ado. Aw. Papa o de ye be fi no o. Ye be fi no. Na so ni nyina wo nyame nsem on bo mo ho ban. Na 2028 no. Embra na beto ye nyina. Na on si me hene mayen. Enti ne etoso ehunum nyama papa nyame de ahye na akofo ado ani bawomia ani MPP fo mpanyimfo bi omo wo adwempa de magana no nyame nto omo kwamu
amen
omo nyanyansa enim die
amen
ani ahonde ne kwatente na 2028 ne embeto omo ne nyansa na mo fa nkura Ghana mayen
ayawie kura
wayewie enti kakra me so ene me pese me kano Ghana fo yesre mo ye bompai 2028 embeto obia na muntu aba papa Kenana 80 years because he has a good mind, a good heart. Enti nyame hira no hwe nsofofo na mo begina ho a mo kasa tie papa no hwe obi te say Donka Williams waye te say ebro ni sack ebro boto we nyame enu munyam wo no so pia eya asase we enim die no mo wo obi so te say your friend say sa osofo bi no your friend say bempa no we chintre te say your friend say your friend say asedu ketia ketia we hwe nkrofo we ya nyame enu munyam ni omumu to mutumi fa bibi papa bremu Ghana for da now so nyame ne hene
amen amen
Michia MPP fo mpanyimfo nyina nyame mo amunyansa your friend papa yi say Mike your friend is oh papa Dabi enya Michael Dabi Manol leader no
Afenyo Markins
Any the omunyina omu adwempa nyina de ma MPP fo no nyame to omu kwam ni ahode
amen
no fa nyansa any kasa so boot to boot omu de pie ye fancy so
yes that is it
sisi ade MPP fo no na say am sure omu wo net no so no omu ya ade de ba anything that NDC allegation come out no they come to defend and that is good that is right and they should start to do even more and more than that. Nyame enka wo ho ene wetiefo nyinara. Nyame show bia di no ma ye nyina nyansa ene kasa emu ye duru a etumi tutu embu people.
Amen.
Na ye fanko enje ye ma.
Amen.
Nyame enka obi a ho.
Nyame enka so ho ma me. Nyame enchira.
Bye.
Yeah, Mama Joyce, and I yet Nkano. Abusia, RAZ Media GH on YouTube and RAZ Media on Facebook. Phone lines on your BA Adam. Now I think say this is my last call. But to me, Yamosa, me di and check a see my phone na Mammy Pisha dance or fee no aba. And why you late, but you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Ivan Sankama Kofi, the second subscriber, the first subscriber to the RAZ Media community and membership. Mia, but that's a power. And a sustainable kind of say commitment why in the face of this channel. Posumi bia auto coffee emamem. But I was be any day we at the moment. Abusiam for say a kasache. Iti me den check a save mamunina. Mimi apanyini Samuel Okuno, one so memo akwaba, edawasi ye pa na obre. Ide mo besia na Nyankopon ema adepache na ochira nso asan ahia. Se video we si na wantimi nka bi ma na machiao. Adios.
To the dear soldier of my ye. It's the same me chem or honeymoon no. Yaman honeymoon 1 year, aka 3 years. 3 years yes yes so na kofo na begu litiri so 24-hour economy wo ho e na kan na wahye nyina wo ho e fi do so na de be ye we e na me kire say e ma ne stress ne ho that much e wo fi yes ne ho de obetimi no onye but enya force gidigidi
na so ne sa akode so fo sa akode ya de ne say office mo na wontwam no
me de be so wontimi a wontwam e ma ne ha ne ho wo fi yes ne ho bebre sa because I want share Ghana for Bobia, ne boss Ghana for 2 mutirim, more to Obama, and 3 years such as in Cajon. 3 years such as in Cajon, and you don't Ghana for Obama, so many 3 years such as a year. I come at the Ghana for one, I want you Ghana for Femuno, and not to Obama, and it is all about one concentrate to her, no make sure say, taxes the how a Ghana for Namuno, send us to share the bond, or may I in a Ghana for chain. And my name for the Jimmy not doing a good free such as Netchy, and my name by distracting them. 1 year the Ghana for as 1 year, none you are not doing a good free such as Netchy. No one any do more year on the Pamano, on the Pamuel people on the 4 years another way. But I this is from a co-position. And to me, free such as no, I'm just telling him, say, and this was stressing who be brave. Or better than be a 1 year, they want him in a watching who free home, who you are about to have for a general buffer school free to take. E no na ne mari ye na na do bese mu enti so office se woni sika wodi wo baba ko secondary school fa de tena fie
carpenter
because maham go for the time na wo maye nan ya wotumi di omu nyina bom ko first ne so na do fast and fa we ma ye no ye sacrifice e di we ko we wia na ya sa bobo ska no ne di we ko we so wia ne bobo no di we ko sa na ne ye na do den sisan ye ba ye enti se enye wo se ye sa ko ye chi. And to so your bad time, that's a woman we are squab one. Say they know we are the first, no. Where the call we are now the wake up and one no man for pressure to my hammer so because my hammer show boss about the free such no a year abroad on the 24-hour economy so. And to be for stress and mama to so. And before now, as they say, who can no. And before